Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Guys YouTube channel where the Force is family. I am Master Paul and it is officially 3 days before Christmas at time of recording. And so this was a stream that initially I wanted to have on Sunday, but then Sunday just ended up being a terrible day for me, so we put it off until today. So we're going to have a bit of a more open-ended discussion tonight. And hello, real quick, to DJ Ronnie G saying, "May the Mary be with you." Thank you. And we're going to have a discussion on what do you look for in a Christmas? Like, what makes a Christmas good? And we're actually going to start this one with a little, we're going to start this one a little bit different. I haven't done this in a while. We're actually going to start this stream with a little bit of music. We're going to do some Christmas carols before we start. So, let me just make sure I'm in tune real quick. It's been a minute since I've played this particular guitar. I've been playing nothing but my Stratocaster over there. All right, there we go. All right, let's start with this one right here. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. Heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. All right. Get some water here real quick. Let's do this one next. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the sky look down where he lays. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. The cattle are lowing, the baby awakes, but little Lord Jesus no crying he makes. I love thee, Lord Jesus, look down from the sky, and stay by my cradle till morning is nigh. Be near me, Lord Jesus, I ask thee to stay close by me forever, and love me, I pray, lest all to heaven to be with thee there. All right. I think that's enough caroling for now. Maybe we'll do some more later, but that all depends on how the stream goes. So we're going to go ahead and put the link to join the stream in the chat here, because I want to mostly hear from you guys as far as like what is it that makes a good Christmas to you guys? Because Christmases are very different. Christmas is different each year. It's the same, but it's different. I'm sure we have all the same traditions, but the things that happen around Christmas time are always very different. And I want to know, what is it that makes a good Christmas to you guys? So let me make sure this is GJ Ronnie G says, I'll drop by after dinner. Okay, that's fine. And what makes a good Christmas to me? This is something that I've been thinking about, and to be perfectly honest with you, still haven't fully developed an answer to. Like, I have somewhat of an idea. We all hear about it talked about so much, it's pretty much a buzzword at this point. The idea of the Christmas spirit. And at least from my point of view, I've heard that term thrown around so much that I really don't know what a definitive definition of the Christmas spirit is. To me, it's just one of those things where either you have it or you don't. And if you have it, you know you have it. And trust me, I've certainly had the Christmas spirit this year. I've been really looking forward to Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday, after all. And yet, despite having it, I still don't know quite properly how to define the Christmas spirit. Because to me, a definition of Christmas spirit being defined as just a good feeling that you get one particular time out of the year just feels too cheap. DJ Ronnie G says here in the chat, family celebrating together is critical. Yes, family being together for Christmas is absolutely critical. And I did send out an invitation, by the way, to DJ Ronnie G also says if Italian food can be critical to my kind. Understandable. But speaking of family, I did drop the link to the StreamYard to my family, my parents, and my sister, who has yet to appear on the channel. I haven't heard back from them as to whether or not they're going to appear, but if they do, great, and if not, that's okay too. We will have a great stream. So like I was saying, defining the Christmas spirit as something that's just a good happy feeling that you get at Christmas time. Yeah, that's probably its most basic term, but that also feels like it's not enough. So that's kind of the first thing I want to unpack here with you guys is, how would you define the Christmas spirit? Like, say you're explaining Christmas to someone that had never heard of it before. How would you define the Christmas spirit? And sorry, I was checking Discord there for a second. And another thing too, as part of this, what are some of the traditions in your family that happen every single year, no matter what? And if these traditions don't happen, it feels like something's missing. like a couple of mine is Christmas Eve. We always, and I mean always, do a big Christmas Eve dinner here at my grandmother's. And then we do presents with my extended family on my mom's side. And real quick, we actually have our first guest popping in here. This is actually the first time in a while I've talked to this guy. Felix, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, I've been out for a while because I've been I'm in the middle of moving from state.
Oh,
So yeah, actually I'm traveling. I'm moving from Connecticut to Florida. I'm leaving on the 31st. So yeah,
nice, nice. I wish you all the best of luck with that
yeah.
move, and of course all the success when you get to Florida. Real quick, what area of Florida are you moving to?
Yeah, I'm gonna be living in Palm Bay, so it's kind of like really close to Melbourne. So it's in the East Coast, middle coast of Florida. So I'm gonna be
Okay.
my whole family. It's a big move. So I have been, selling this house, getting a house over there. It's a lot of logistics behind it. Plus, we have Christmas in between. I needed to go to some activities with my friends to do what we call parrandas.
Hmm.
Parrandas are like the Christmas caroling version on Puerto Rico. So we do a lot of Christmas singing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we opened up with the stream with some Christmas singing too. Maybe we'll do some later on, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But the big question that I wanted to try and get an answer from everyone out of this whole stream is what makes a good Christmas to you? And as part of that, sort of another question that came up was how would you define the Christmas spirit? Like having the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. It at least for me. Well, you're probably very. It would be very similar to what you think. For me, Christmas is centered in Christ, right? So
Hmm.
for me, that's kind of like remembering that special day, when Jesus was born, and spend time with family, and then the Christmas tree, a lot of singing, eating, it's a very special time, that's actually my favorite time of the year. I
Yeah.
actually wait the whole year for Christmas because
I'm
yeah, that's kind of me. That's my favorite holiday. So, but yeah,
yeah, I'm the same way. Christmas is also my favorite holiday also. But yeah, I definitely hear you on that. For those that do proclaim to be Christian, you know, celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ is the biggest part of Christmas and should always, come at the forefront. Yes, there's family time and all that, but that's really what Christmas is about, is the
yeah,
idea that Jesus was born on Christmas and he was born to be the savior of the world.
yeah. That's what it's called, Christmas. It's celebrating the birth of Christ. But yeah, uh, for other people, it's also a holiday. Also we have and combine Hanukkah, right, for the Jewish brothers.
Hmm.
Like it's a very special time too. Yeah, it's like for me, I wait out the whole year for it, and I like the singing, expressing, that love through singing, and doing my cultural things. They're very different from what you do in the guitar only, but we use guitars too. We have guitars, and we have that little guitar called cuatro. I don't know if you've
Yes,
seen it. It has a
I
very peculiar
think so.
noise. Yeah, if you
I think
haven't,
so.
yeah, check it out on YouTube. It has a very peculiar sound, and it has double chords. So I think if you haven't seen it, and it has a very specific shape,
Ooh,
it's really unique. It's a very unique sound. If you haven't played one of those, you try that, you're gonna be wow, you're gonna be surprised.
I just found a picture of one. Let me
Oh,
pull
you
it
found
up
it?
real
Yeah,
quick. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's it right there, right?
Yes, yes. It's very unique, and it sounds beautiful. And actually, this past weekend, we had a friend that plays the guitar, and another friend was playing the cuatro in combination with the guitar, and it's an awesome sound. It's very unique. You haven't heard it, and you heard it for the first time, you're gonna say,
Yeah,
"Wow."
I've heard it once. There was a guy that was a street performer that played once at my place of work, and he had a nylon string guitar and a quattro, and playing both together was really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so real quick, Ghost Rider says, always confused me because Jesus was born in the spring. Christmas was co-opted by the church to overshadow the pagan season of Yule and their holiday of Saturnalia. That last part I did not know. Felix, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, it's that's one of the things I think that when he's talking about the church project, he's talking about that I guess the church at one point in time it substituted that pagan holiday, and what better to say, okay, let's commemorate the birth of Jesus. But I guess the birth of Jesus is because historically they account the birth of John the Baptist around March 25. It's not an exact date either. It's around that time. And because they put it on March 25, 9 months after that, right? Because Mary and Elizabeth had that meeting in their house, it comes out to be December 25. But it's not the exact day. That's why people get confused a little bit. It's just one day that we, commemorate, the birth of Jesus. But it's based on that fact. So, yeah. But it's just a day. It's just a day, that we just as Christians we have established for that. But
exactly,
it's not. We don't have like a magic, time machine, like to get it exact to the point, right? But
right,
yeah.
So going off of that, and again, you've already touched on it, given how you and your family have your own traditions due to your Puerto Rican heritage.
Yeah.
What are some other traditions that you guys have, like specifically within your immediate family and, your extended family?
Yeah, one thing that we do on Christmas, we do a roasted pork on food. We bake on food. So it's a tradition to eat roasted pork with rice and pigeon peas. The pigeon peas? Well, they're like
I haven't.
They're like similar to the beans, but they're like really round. And we do like seasoned rice with it. So
I found them. They're like peas but brown, like almost like unpopped popcorn.
Yeah, they're really tasty. So when you do it with the rice, mix with the rice together in a good seasoning base, it's really tasty. So we have that. Then we have the pastry. We have something called arroz con dulce. It's kind of like a very sweet type of pastry with rice and raisins. It's really good. We have pasteles that is kind of like a little it's a mix of banana mix, a mass with, you can put either chicken, beef, or some people put raisins. So it's pretty good. So it's all about food. That's kind of like the big thing about Christmas. So
yeah, food's definitely a big thing for our family too. We don't do anything fancy like that, but my grandmother will always make a ham.
Ham.
She'll make green beans, macaroni. My aunts, I think, will bring over a big thing of cooked rolls. And Michael, actually, he was working on this with Nanny tonight. Michael and Nanny always work on this huge gingerbread man together. I mean, this thing is like 18 inches tall, about that wide, and it's covered in just about everything you can think of.
And what about your family's big on the Christmas tree? Decorations and all that.
Yes, we do Christmas trees. My grandmother has hers downstairs in the living room. Mom and Dad have theirs at their house. And side question: angel on top or star on the top for you?
We have a star on the top, and then we have angels on like on the side. Plus, we have what is it? We had the red flower, the Pascuas. We have those, but we have it around. Plus, we made a tradition. We actually, through the years, since I got, once we got married, we start collecting each year a specific ornament for that year, and we have already collected a total like 20. So we have like 20 different ones, and then when I had my daughter, and then how the family grew up, so we have all that collection. It's pretty good to go back and remember. So it's kind of like a time from remembering, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We don't have anything like that. Well, we do have a couple Christmas ornaments in remembrance. For example, I've not shared this before, and I'm not going to go into detail, but there is another sibling so there's obviously me, then there's Michael and Morgan. Morgan you haven't met, and then Jonathan. But there was another sibling that came after me, but before Michael and Morgan. Her name was Allie, but unfortunately, she only lived for 9 months before she passed away due to some internal complications. I'm not 100% clear on the details. And both Mom and Nanny have a little picture frame ornament with her on it.
Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah. And then other, I guess you could say, more novelty ornaments on a much lighter topic. Things like getting an ornament from Disney World, getting an ornament from Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Different things like that, aside from your standard red and gold Christmas ornaments that my grandmother certainly likes to do. There was a period of time, though, I don't know if Mom still has these. I'm sure she does somewhere. But there was a period of time that Mom would do her entire Christmas tree in the Wizard of Oz. And I mean like the really nice Hallmark brand Wizard of Oz ornaments that actually light up and do stuff. Like you push a button and say, you hear the wizard's voice saying, "I am Oz, the great and powerful."
Nice. Oh, wow. That's a nice, yeah. I think that they come with different themes. That I think there's, yeah. And one other thing, yeah, go ahead.
For a fact, there's Star Wars ones. Like I've seen one of Star Wars from The Empire Strikes Back. That scene where Vader is talking to the hologram of Palpatine, and you push the button, you see Vader kneeling, and he's like, "What is thy bidding, my master?" And then you see the hologram of the Emperor appear.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be nice to see. Yeah. Yeah. One other thing that at least my family we do, because I think it's different in here, is that we celebrate the January 6th. Because that the birth we celebrate on the 25th, we commemorate the birth of Jesus, right? So we then on the 6th, we commemorate the Epiphany of the Lord. That's basically when the wise man came in to the barn and do all that, like do the three gifts. So so that for us in the Latin community is a big holiday, holiday. So yeah, it's
January
even bigger.
6th. So January 6th for you guys is almost like Christmas part 2.
It's part 2. It's basically the same thing. Instead of getting milk and cookies, what we do is that we take a shoebox. We go out, we take grass, put it on the shoebox, and then get a bucket of water for the camels. So for the kids, it's like you putting grass and water for the camels.
Oh, okay.
And then the three kings, right? They bring presents to the good kids, to the kids to commemorate the birth of.
Oh, okay.
So in representation, so basically we celebrate the birth, but we also celebrate the presentation of the baby to the world. So it's kind of like, so it's a long. I think the Greek Orthodox are also big on that. They celebrate the Epiphany. Yeah.
Okay. And real quick, I want to say hello to Michael, or as he's going by, Lockdown. Yep.
Autobots, Decepticons, like little children, always fighting, making a mess of things that I have to clean up.
So, Michael, I already told you what the conversation is about. It's, what makes a good Christmas to you. And right now we're just talking about different family traditions. between, of course, our family and Felix's family. I've already mentioned the Giants gingerbread man that you and Nanny literally just got done doing.
Yeah, in fact, let me go ahead and send you a picture of what we did last year, because in recent years, I've been doing stuff that's pretty different than your usual sort of thing with Gingerbread Man.
Mm-hmm.
Where this year, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but let's just say it's another one of
I'm
those
probably
kinds of
gonna
different
see it
things.
between now and Christmas Eve, though, since I live here.
I mean, yeah, but still, I'm gonna show you exactly what we did last year, just to give you an idea of some of the things that I've been doing. But
Okay, you're
it's gonna
sending
be
it to Messenger, right?
yeah, and
All right, I just got it. I'll pull it into StreamYard, and that way we can see everyone.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this year I'm kind of doing a similar thing, except it's
Oh,
not.
I like this.
Oh,
I like this.
Pull it up.
All right, let me get it input into StreamYard here.
Yeah, it's a surprise. This is actually what we did last year, after a certain season finale had just made its way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Has it really been a year though?
Boom. Oh
oh,
yeah. Oh no, it's actually been 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah, it's been 2 years since the Mando season 2 finale.
Yeah. So what you're looking at is kind of, I did it 50-50, where I did a regular gingerbread man on one side and then a Mandalorian on the other side, just to
nice.
kind of give the best of both worlds.
That is beautiful.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'll throw the question now to you, Michael. Sort of the overall. Actually, I'll start here. The Christmas spirit, that term we've heard just every which way you can think of around this time of year. And yet, at least that I can think of, no one has a true definition for what the Christmas spirit is. So that's my question to you. What is the Christmas spirit to you?
Well, it's something that I really can't explain in words, just because it would do it injustice. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there is something about Christmas that brings people together, just because, for one thing, it's really cold outside. Everyone wants to get warm. So we have things like hot chocolate, which I'm actually having some right now.
Nice.
By the way, this is for Tim.
Oh man.
Here's a sip for you.
And so, yeah, but also, I'm kind of in the same mindset as Ghost Rider. Let's just say that my statements and opinions do not reflect those of the U.S. Army, U.S. Army Reserves, DoD, or its affiliates. Let's just put it out there that I said it so I won't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with Ghost Rider, where I do think that the Christmas spirit is really just based on the selflessness that God has when he not only sent his son to die for us, but he did it in such a way that it fulfilled prophecy, as it's prophesied that a child would come, and that child would be the Messiah.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And I like how you said it when you first started answering the question, how you acknowledge that it's hard to put words to what the Christmas spirit is because you feel like you can't do it justice. That's pretty much exactly what I said, because the first thing that immediately comes to mind to me, if you were to boil the Christmas spirit down to the most basic of basic terms, it's a good feeling that you get around this time of year, but that's far too cheap of a definition, right?
Yeah. As well as, and I know I'm going to step on some toes here, as well as I would even argue the whole thing with people just saying, oh, Christmas is about giving, Christmas is about, I don't know, I don't want to say spending time with your family, because obviously you should do that, but it goes way beyond you going out of your way and serving somebody or going out of your way to spend more time with your family. It goes much deeper than that. And I
Mhm.
do say that with all due respect.
Yeah, in fact, as you were saying that, I kind of got the idea to retitle the stream. You know, not just what makes a good Christmas, just what is Christmas to you. So the stream has been retitled, and yeah. So let's see, back to traditions though. So I was already going into what we do every year with Nanny, where everyone from the extended family on mom's side will come over, you know, Aunt Becky, Uncle Benji, BB and Blair, and we have a big dinner. And then immediately after, we always sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then we open presents. Now, this was all the guy who handed out the presents was always our grandfather on our mom's side, the same one that taught me how to play guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there is that aspect of Christmas that we don't like to think of, and that is, you know, the time that comes when you look across the table at Christmas and realize that someone's missing and they're going to be missing for the rest of your mortal existence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Uncle Benji has stepped up and filled that role well, but
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is also, unfortunately, a very sad time of year when you take stock of those that have passed on to the next world.
Yes. And I would even say that it hasn't been solely just our uncle. Myself, I'm sure you probably have done it a little bit, and our dad has
Dad,
also done it as well.
yeah, and not just specifically with handing out the presents. That's just one thing.
But Dad has also taken the time to even read scripture, as every year we read the same passage that Linus recites in Charlie Brown Christmas.
Which I'm going to pull that up right now and read it. So this is Luke chapter 2, starting in verse 8. Now there were in the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were greatly afraid. Then the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be the sign to you. You will find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." So it was, when the angels had gone away from them into heaven, that the shepherds said to one another, "Let us now go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has come to pass, which the Lord has made known to us." And they came with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. Now when they had seen him, they made widely known the saying which was told to them concerning this child. And all those who heard it marveled at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. Then the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen as it was told them. And that question I asked earlier, how would you guys define the Christmas spirit? I think we just found the answer: peace and goodwill toward men.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, like, in the holidays, it obviously, because of how the world works, is that it has that this holiday has been commercialized a lot, and it's
It
more
has.
about Yeah, and it's more about people think more about the presents, what to give other people, but
As well
in
as
reality,
as
go
well
ahead.
as I was making a comment at work where people will very easily worship a red suited guy that eats milk and cookies for his entire diet, as well as delivers presents all in one night, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
But they're more willing to believe that than they are to believe in things like the virgin birth.
Yeah, because it has got commercialized and mixed with other folk tales on top of it.
Yeah.
Because in reality, the story of Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas, he was actually a member of the church, and he was a very Christian man that gave presents to, the poor.
Yeah.
So,
Even though there's
but yeah, and in those times, so he took in charge of that, and then with the years, it evolved and it got mixed with the elf stories and all this, and that's how you get what you have
Right.
now.
Yeah.
But in reality, Saint Nicholas was actually a member of the church in the early church. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
of
real
course,
quick, Ghost Rider says in the chat, I guess it really depends on if you are viewing the season from the secular or the religious point of view. Having grown up Catholic, I am familiar with both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were you about to say, Mike?
And don't get me wrong about this. There's some things that I'm still willing to do just for the fun of it. Like yesterday, I went out of my way to go buy some cheap cookie mix and decided to bake cookies to leave out in Christmas Eve nights. And I'm okay with that. Like, I think that's fun just because it gives me a reason and an excuse to go and buy cookies and bake some for the family.
It's just a tradition. It's just basically a tradition, that you do every year.
It's just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Even though I myself don't believe in, like I said, a fat man dressed in red who's going to climb down the chimney. And of course, if you're watching this and you believe in that, then you are entitled to your own belief. I'm just putting it out there because
it's more the spirit. I was just talking about the spirit of Christmas. This tradition about Santa Claus, it's trying to embody the spirit of Christmas in terms of giving, being selfless. But you need to see it in that way. It's just that it got obviously commercialized, and it gets into the presents and giving and exchanging and all that more.
If I'm not mistaken, the whole idea of Christmas being a season of giving was started by the wise men, setting the example that yes, they the highest men of their time in power were willing to not only humble themselves before the true king, but give up something valuable to them for his benefit. Ghost Rider in the chat says Saint Nicholas was an archbishop in modern day Turkey. He gave donations to the needy by leaving it in people's shoes. The elves were the local nuns that would help him with deliveries in what is now modern day Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it originated. Yes. That's good. Good, Ghost Rider. That's correct. And yeah. And if you want to put a funny story about him too, in one of the councils of the early church, he actually punched somebody because they were
what?
Yeah, because they were making fun of the Holy Spirit, and he got upset about that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a story. Yeah, you can look at it. I remember when I heard that, I was like, wow. Do you know that one, Ghost Rider? Like, I think Ghost Rider can confirm that. I think he knows. Probably he knows about this. He punched. Because he was a very deep. I'm talking about a very strict, deep Christian, and when he heard this blasphemy, I guess if you want to call it, of the Holy Spirit, he actually got really upset. He wouldn't put it up.
It's funny you say that. You remind me of one of our mom's favorite stories from her childhood. So you guys all watching this know that we maintain a no cursing rule here on the channel. and if you do curse, you'll get this clip played.
Language, and for gosh sake, watch your language.
And of course, you know how Echo Base Network does it. You'll get the NO thing, or my version. But you want to know what Mom did anytime she heard people cussing in church? She took them around the back and beat them up for it.
Okay. So the same thing. Imagine the same thing, but early church on a console, he heard something and he just poof. So it's one of those funny stories.
Yes. And hello in the chat, of course, to the Padawannabe. I'm going to take this moment real quick to remind everyone that you guys are welcome to join the stream. Also, the link is in the pinned comment in the chat, because I want to hear from you guys too, whether you're looking at it from the religious point of view like the three of us are, or whether you're looking at it from the secular point of view. What is Christmas to you? So come on here. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you guys.
Oh, what about
Rider? Yeah. Santa finds lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah. What about movies? Now that you guys like movies, like what about Christmas movies and stuff?
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off this one right away. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie, Felix?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
No.
It is.
I say no.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
You are wrong. And guess
yes,
what?
It is.
Gremlins is also a Christmas movie.
Actually, yeah, it was. What happens is that it's because it's Christmas.
And welcome, Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah, Ghost Rider is here.
I am at work on my break. I have about 15 minutes, and then I'll have to hop off.
Yeah.
But yes, we were regaling each other with stories. I figured this would be much easier since I am on break, rather than typing it in the chat.
Okay.
But anyway,
so
Santa's a G, man.
Yeah, you knew about this one, about the punch, right? You probably heard about this, right? He punched a guy in the
yes, I am a cradle Catholic, and my grandfather he was a deacon in the church.
Yeah.
I lived with my grandparents for the later part of my teenage years, and yes, I have heard all the stories of all the saints, over and over time in memoriam. So yes, I am very familiar. I'm familiar with Jesus tossing the tables. I'm familiar with Saint Nick punching a dude in the mouth for blasphemy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I was surprised when I heard that. I was like, wow, he doesn't. You cannot mess with Santa.
No, he would put you in your place.
Yeah. And I don't know if they took that down and trying to, I don't know. And this is a separate story, but have you heard about the Silent Night movie? I think they took that story and extrapolated to the 10,000.
Oh, you mean Violent Night? And yes, I know all about
Violent Night. They went too far, I think, in that movie. Santa is like Die Hard. It's basically Die Hard, but with Santa Claus.
Yeah. It's actually it's a mix between Die Hard and Home Alone and people and the Santa Claus. It's really a wonderful Christmas movie, and I do believe it will become a holiday favorite.
Yeah, they went far. They went really far on that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course,
it knows what it is. It knows what it is. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
And it's just good Christmas fun.
Which movie are you talking
in the
about
same
now?
niche of Violent Night.
Violent Night. He's talking about.
Yeah. The new one with David Harbour.
I was gonna say, I want to see that movie because I do appreciate him as an actor, especially after his performance in Stranger Things. More specifically, in season 4 is where I thought he shined.
Let's put it this way: that movie puts Die Hard. It makes Die Hard a kids movie.
I see.
I'm telling you, Santa. Don't mess with Santa. Just
What
don't
do you
listen
do?
to him.
I believe it.
What are you doing here, weirdo?
I drug him in here.
Yeah, I was gonna finally beat him in Mario Kart.
Nope, you got tricked into joining a stream. So, Michael, show your face on camera, and do it with me.
Hey, put that knife hand away there, son.
All right. So, anyways,
Holster that knife hand, son.
I brought you in here, John, because I wanted to get into.
Can't flagging people with weapons everywhere. What's wrong with you?
I wanted to get to you, John.
I got a weapon right here.
I conceal carry.
For
Not
those of
really.
you that do not know, I am a Marine.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So, John, I wanted to bring you in here to get your opinion and basically ask you, what is Christmas to you?
Presents, of course.
No, to me, it's more like a gathering of everything just in celebration of what we've all done.
So like an end of the year celebration almost.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. To a lot of people, it is that.
That coincides with the pagan holiday of Yule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what it was, and it's the winter solstice and whatnot, where the days grow longer, like y'all were talking about earlier, the Saturnalia and whatnot. It's that was the time because that marked the end of the year. Okay, now this is the end. Now we're starting anew. We're starting fresh. We've accomplished all these things. It's basically New Year's.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
because pagans were worshiping the god of sun. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's all I needed.
All right.
All right. Go back to
I
your
appreciate you, little dude.
Ghost Rider said he appreciated you.
Thank you.
Go practice so I can beat you in Mario Kart.
No, I'm gonna go practice so I can beat you in Mario Kart.
Oh,
Them sounds like fighting words.
Hey, he already beats me enough at Smash Brothers, so I really can't talk.
You know what? I used to be boss on Smash until the GameCube came out, and then my sister just took Kirby and now wrecks shop with me all the time.
I see.
I'm the oldest.
So,
and, yeah.
Getting back to talking about Christmas movies, there's two movies for me that I always watch on Christmas, and these are pretty safe picks, but for me, I always have to watch Home Alone and I always have to watch A Christmas Story. I've done one of those two so far this year. I haven't yet watched Home Alone. I'm probably going to tonight after this stream.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, in doing YouTube and, of course, going through Christmas movies that I haven't seen, there are some movies that are now going to be added to that tradition. For example, the original Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, The Christmas Story
That's
sequel.
an amazing movie.
Which one?
It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is one of my Christmas movies that I have to watch at least once a year during the holidays.
Yes, that it's just such a great. Both Miracle on 34th Street and It's a Wonderful Life are both just great, perfect, uplifting movies, both from the story and from the movie making process, albeit in very different ways. But just both are as close to perfection from a movie as I have ever seen.
For me, I like you say, I like Home Alone, the classic Home Alone. I also watch Home Alone 2. Because of my kids, they like the new movies about Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2.
Oh yeah,
they like those. They're like comedy, but they also have the Christmas spirit in the background. And there's a new one about the Ghost of Christmas. It's with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. A Spirited. That one is pretty good too. Like it talks about you know how the story of the ghost, the past, the present, and it's
A
pretty
Christmas
much.
Carol.
A Christmas
Yeah, yeah.
Carol. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually the third. That's actually the third story that's become something of a tradition for me. I have to watch some version of A Christmas Carol, which again I've already done. Last
Muppet
night,
Christmas Carol is epic. I love Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet
Oh.
Christmas Carol is good. It's not my favorite though. My favorite is a tie between, at least now, the George C. Scott version and the Jim Carrey version.
I haven't seen the George C. Scott version in a long time.
That's
It's free
understandable.
on YouTube.
Yeah,
And-
but I do love the Jim Carrey version just because I do think that a lot of the stuff from the books are well done, especially given how Jim Carrey's known to be kind of a funny guy.
Hmm.
I think that, even though he gets his moments, you can clearly see that he's probably one of the most versatile actors, almost like Jeff Daniels, where
Yes.
1 minute he's playing some literal turd who is the dumbest thing on earth, to playing a Civil War officer.
Hmm.
Look
And
that
real
up
quick-
sometime.
And real quick, hello to Black Dragon, who says, "Screw Happy Holidays. It is now and has always been Merry Christmas."
Because yippee-ki-yay.
Uh,
I'm not
In
saying-
regards
I'm not saying
to-
the rest.
Made me play that clip, Michael.
not
In
saying
regards,
the
in
I'm not
regards
saying the
to
rest.
Black Dragon,
I have
comment,
a different clip I can play. Godzilla's watching you.
You
No,
knew I
in
wasn't
regards
gonna
to
finish it.
Black Dragon's comment,
You know I wasn't gonna finish it though.
when I was growing up, I would always tell people Merry Christmas, and it wasn't until recent years that people started getting all uppity about it. You know, if a Jewish person said Happy Hanukkah to me and I responded Merry Christmas to them, nobody used to bat an eye.
Mhm.
You know, because we all understood that it really doesn't matter. We are wishing each other well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If anything, it's a greeting and a farewell phrase.
Yeah, it's like aloha.
Like it's nothing any more significant than saying good morning to somebody, or good afternoon, or goodbye.
Now,
Exactly.
if you want to say Happy Holidays, that too is perfectly acceptable. But don't try to tell me that I have to say Happy Holidays, that I can't say Merry Christmas.
And you know what? Going in between the languages, we don't have an equivalent to Happy Holidays in the Spanish world.
Yeah.
We
No,
just
we
say,
don't.
We just say Feliz Navidad. That's it.
Yeah.
There's
And
no
if you really
equivalent.
wanted to say it, you could always just say Feliz Navidad, Prospero Año y Felicidad, and that's probably all you're gonna get. That's
Yeah,
anywhere
we
close to
don't.
it.
You don't get it. You don't get anything close to Happy Holidays in Spanish. So
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
you
And
don't.
of course, Padawannabe in the chat saying "Yippee-ki-yay, mother fluffer."
and
You know, my
talking
grandmother,
about
whenever we would try to, whenever we would try to, someone in the family would try to correct her, she'd throw a flip flop at him and go, "Sin vergüenza."
yeah, super words, yeah.
I would totally be that person just because.
Which, to those of you that do not speak Spanish, that means no shame.
No shame, yeah. Without shame, yeah.
Without shame.
And talking about movies, like the comedy side of the Christmas movies, for some reason I love Fred Claus. It's my one to laugh. If you haven't seen that movie, check it out. Fred Claus, to me, I just laugh so much.
I've heard
Fred
of it.
Claus is great. I like Elf. Elf
It's
is
all
excellent
right.
too.
It's all right. It's not my favorite, but I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, it makes me laugh. There's one part that there's a bunch of Santa Clauses following him to the mall, and every time I see that part, I just laugh. It's my favorite
Yeah.
part. And then my daughter loves the Polar Express. That's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
one to
Yes.
see.
In fact, I gotta share a fun family memory. There was a time, I want to say this was back in 2008 or 9. No, it had to be
Yeah.
2008. We actually went to DC
Mm.
to one of the big IMAX theaters that they had in the museums in the National Mall, and actually saw the Polar Express in IMAX 3D.
Oh wow.
Was the single best theater experience I have ever had.
Yeah. That movie was a big time movie for the 3D movies. It was one of the first ones to kind of like go wild with the 3D, technology. So
And if
it's
I'm
a,
not mistaken, too, it was also one of the first movies to use motion capture.
yes,
Yeah, maybe. And I think that it's, on that same note, I think it's mainly because the 3D platform sort of was overhauled, where I still remember 3D being in the form of those dumb little glasses that had the red lens or the blue lens, and then it turned into almost sunglasses that hold look.
I'm not reading that, but Ghost Rider, that one's for you.
Excuse me, sir. Not was, I am. Get it right. All right, you squid. I don't care if you're a frogman. I'll still squash you.
All right, I gotta support my fellow sailor though. So I'm sorry, Ghost Rider.
All right,
Yeah,
youngster, out you go.
Don't come back. Ever.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have gotten rid of the grunt.
Excuse me. I am an artillery marine. Okay, I am smart. I actually have to do math.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm the guy that hauls you back to the base when you go out drunk.
well, then again, we ain't as bad off as the Navy, even though my branch is getting there.
Yeah, you know, you squids just need to keep your mouth shut and just get me to where I need to go to get my job done. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Over glorified Uber. That's what you are.
hey,
All
Mike,
right.
Mike, go
Yeah.
green, go green, go green.
That's right.
This is also unintentionally a meeting of either current or past service members too, which actually that's actually a good thing to talk about, because all four of us, Michael, you haven't yet, but all four of us have a whole different experience with Christmas than others do, because we know what
I
it's
got
like.
I got a service Christmas story I can actually tell.
Okay, let me make my point real quick first.
Oh, I apologize. Oops.
Sorry. Whoa, what was that?
I don't know.
That's the buzzer telling people to get back to work. So I got about 5 more minutes before people actually come back in
Okay.
here, because we're on this is my last working day of the week, and we're off on Monday because Christmas is Sunday. So this is like my Friday.
Fair enough. So, anyways, we know what it's like to have to spend Christmas away from family due to the nature of our job. Having to spend Christmas on the other end of the world, doing what we do for the military while everyone else is back home. So, segueing into that, Ghost Rider, you said you had a Christmas story related to that?
Oh yeah. So I was stationed in Okinawa on Camp Hansen for a while, and just so happened that some of my buddies from my MOS school and Marine combat training were also stationed in the barracks across from mine. So Christmas time comes around, and I get word that my buddies are having a party in their common room.
Mm-hmm.
And what they had done is they took a couple doors off the hinges. And I'm talking like big double doors. And they had
Whoa.
spread them out. They had spread them out horizontally, so that it made a giant pong table, and
Oh,
we had
okay.
500 cups on either side, filled with various alcoholic beverages, ranging from light beer to absinthe.
Oof.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we had tequila, rum, all kinds of fun stuff, and there was not a cup left that was wet when we were done.
Hmm.
Wow. I'm
Yes.
surprised that you survived to tell the tale.
Mhm.
Oh, it was epic and glorious.
Yeah, you would have
Just-
liked
Kablah!
you would have liked some of the stuff that we had at this one Christmas party, which this was actually like a whole almost formal breakfast.
Oh,
But
I
it's
know what you're talking
tradition.
about.
But it's tradition where a couple of our buddies from our department would make gummy bears that were spiced with Smirnoff vodka.
Mm.
And then some other people would make Jello shots from a similar drink, and some people would have them, and that's pretty much it. I can't remember if there was anything else though, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised I can remember anything from that night.
Mhm.
Just as a side note, this isn't Christmas related, but you'll get a kick out of this, Ghost Rider. There was one day when I was overseas in Bahrain. I was doing like an open mic night at one of the local restaurants, and one of my friends from my duty section came in, got himself an entire bottle of Absolute vodka, drank the whole thing in less than a minute, and not
Whoa.
even 5 seconds later was in the bathroom.
Wow.
Somebody didn't make it. The weak little heart couldn't
Anyways.
take it.
But getting back on the topic though, Felix, what's some of your military related Christmas stories?
Yeah, I remember I was on my MOS school. This is wow. This was 96. And and it was different because I didn't have a choice to be, in the school, it was like, MOS, it's after the boot camp. So the only places I was able to go was to, once I got a one of those permissions to go on the weekend, I went out and tried to see if there was any parandas around outside because there was nothing inside. And then, I was trying to get a drink that was called coquito. I don't know if you heard about that. It's basically the equivalent to eggnog. And
Yes.
but it's made of coconut and cinnamon, and it has rum. So when you drink it, you don't think you're drinking any alcoholic drink. But if you drink too much of it,
It's very dangerous.
it's very, very dangerous because you drink it, you don't feel the alcohol.
I believe it.
So
Padawannabe,
yeah.
by the way, says, I was never a beer pong player, but my friends and I would play Chandelier. It's basically an advanced version of quarters, but nobody drank the same stuff.
Yeah, I know Chandelier. If it's what I'm thinking it is, basically, well, the one I'm thinking of is where quarters, you actually have to toss the quarter in the cup after bouncing it on the table. What I'm thinking of is the cups are stacked in a pyramid formation, and you have to drink the cup that you get the quarter in.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the one I'm thinking of, if it's the same game. But anyways, gentlemen, brothers, I have to get going back to work. I'll be listening. I'll be lurking.
Thank you. And thank you for
All right.
See you, Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Merry
take it
Christmas,
easy,
Ghost
y'all.
Rider.
Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz
Feliz
Navidad.
Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad.
Yep. Actually, the author of that song his name is Jose Feliciano, and that song made him a lot of money.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what were you talking about with your story, Felix, before we interrupted? Sorry.
No, it was not that much because I was 18 at that time, 19. So and because I was in my MOS, school, it was not that much to do, than trying to go
Right.
outside, and so it was not like I was active duty in a base, you know what I mean? That you have more freedom to do stuff.
Mhm.
So it was more restricted. So, but yeah, I remember missing my family, writing letters because there was no phones. So I remember that writing letters was a big deal at that time. Now, I remember getting phone cards when I had a chance. So I don't know how it is now, Mike, if this is still the same thing, restrictions, but I don't know that you are allowed to have cell phones on the weekends or not, but
Well,
it-
I would say kind of take this with something of a grain of salt, just because obviously it could have been a lot more different at a different basic training, because I went to Relax in Jackson, but
Uh-huh.
we did get our phones typically on Sundays, but who knows, that could be just the result of a kinder, more gentle military showing up.
Okay.
Which me and Michael have had numerous discussions about offline.
Yes, just because it is getting to that point. But I do know that in my MOS school at also Fort Jackson, because I was training to be a 56 Mike, I would go on Liberty on weekends.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's about it. And then for me, it's kind of the same, almost like I didn't leave just because I'm a reservist.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So
My-
oh, go ahead.
My boot camp was in Fort Jackson. So I went to book, but then my MOS was in Fort Gordon. So was different, but yeah. And then I also, you get the chance to go to church also when
Yeah.
so that's the other thing that I did. Yeah.
So for me, I spent Christmas of 2014, 15, and 16 in the military. And 2014 and 15, I had to work both Christmas days. In fact, 2015, I had to work Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Mhm.
And yeah, it sucked because I missed, of course, my family, and I at least wanted to have off Christmas Day to, do my own thing, but unfortunately that wasn't the way the schedule fell. But at least my command did something very nice where they brought in a catered Christmas dinner for us to all enjoy together, the entire section, before we stood our post. And I remember there was this one year too. This was 2014. I was part of a small 2-man post out even off the base. So I don't think I'll get in trouble saying this as long as I don't provide specifics. There is a post we call Alpha Romeo just by code, and it's basically 2 people that stay there to watch over the admiral's residence. And we had not only food that we had brought with us from the Christmas dinner that year, but the admiral's personal chef actually brought us some food too. So that particular night was a good night. But yeah, 2015, that one was all right. 2016, honestly, was not a good Christmas for me. And here's the thing, that Christmas I actually had off from duty. So I went and basically took myself out for dinner out in town from one of the yakiniku restaurants that I've talked about on here before. But I was just, that year in particular, because that was my 3rd straight Christmas in a row. And I'm a homebody. Anytime I'm away from my family for a significant period of time, I do start to miss them. And I was really missing my family that year. And so that particular year, I was really down in the dumps about missing my family. But real quick, we have another guest that just popped in. Say hello to DJ Ronnie G. What's up, man?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm enjoying your story. I don't want to disrupt it, so please continue. But I will share my thoughts on what makes Christmas to me afterwards.
Okay, that's fine. That's really the end of the story. I've missed 3 Christmases being away from family, and then of course there was Christmas of 2017, which that I was home by then, but unfortunately I missed that part. I had to work that Christmas. Now I did manage to have presents with everyone still, but I definitely Christmas morning was, at least for me, rushed that year because I had to work that night. And yeah, the less I talk about my job at the jail, the better. So anyways, DJ Ronnie G, let's get you in the picture now. So
yeah, I mean, I'll jump right into what makes Christmas special to me, and to do that, I think I just gotta play like a little VHS tape right over here.
Ooh, fancy.
And basically, this is Christmas of 1990, and basically, my mom would have a cousin visit every Christmas with her father, and so you have me and Big Me, basically Big Brother Me. And somewhere in here, we're going to see a Nintendo getting unpacked.
Oh,
so that's
really?
Like the whole thing. We got some Ninja Turtle action here, but it's the Nintendo
I'm gonna
that's
make you full screen.
Okay, cool. And then, just, I guess, real quick, got to give some kudos to my mom because, of course, she made Christmas happen. Of course, this video starts a little late, so she's sitting right over there hanging out. But we'll see more Mom later. So we're opening up some Ninja Turtle action right over here. So it's sort of like, parents and grown-ups pulling together to make the kids happy. And back then, I was very, self-centered compared to now in that I didn't realize that Christmas isn't all about getting cool stuff. But, now it's like, we got this. So I got some cool Ninja Turtle toys that I had for years to come. And these are way better to possess than actual turtles. I mean, that's a whole other topic, but turtles are cool, you know. So let's find a Nintendo. We want to see that Nintendo being unpacked. Oh, this is cool. This is a Ninja Turtle cannon right over here.
Oh, wow.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know, how it works, but that's what it is. And then...
And I'm sure those would fetch a pretty penny today.
I don't think I have half of it, but... I got a couple of things floating around. Then my parents used to do this thing where they would trick us and think Santa showed up. They would put the stuff in garbage bags. They would ring the freaking sleigh bells. And then we'd be like, "Where's Santa?" And we'd run up to the window and be like... And they'd be like, "Oh, he's gone.
Perfect.
He dropped it off in the backyard." And that's how we got, so apparently Santa Claus used garbage bags to deliver, all of the presents.
Wow.
And there we go.
Oh, there it is. There
Wow,
it is.
action
It
set.
has the blaster thingy too.
Yeah, we got the one that came with Super Mario Duck Hunt on the same cartridge and the orange zapper. And then I received the Ghostbuster car that year.
Oh,
The
wow.
Ecto 1.
So you got the Ecto 1.
Yeah, so that's going to be unpacked right here. You can see the box in the back right here.
Yep.
And in the top left quadrant of the video frame. And if we skip ahead a little bit, we got other cool gifts. And then me, I'm like, "Oh, how do I open this box, Mommy?" And then she's going to help me open the box. Then I'm just going to follow her downstairs to get this Ghostbuster car unpacked. Now, somewhere else I have a tape from the year prior, probably the year after. We got Proton Packs the year after.
Like
there it is.
Proton packs you can wear and pull out the gun and use it.
Yeah. You pull it. You have it on the back and you pull it up like that. And it came with this big foam, almost like the foam noodle. That would be like your streams. And you pull the trigger, make a whining noise or something like that. And it had decals that you would attach to the plastic box. And when my mom used to pick my brother up from the bus stop, I used to go walk with her wearing my Proton Pack. So, that's what we had over there. And I don't know what's in the rest of this video. It could be incriminating. It could be legit. No, I'm kidding. It's nothing bad.
That's all right. I do want to take a
actually,
moment to welcome Black Dragon in here. How you doing, man?
Tired.
Hey, Black
I
Dragon.
hear you on that one.
Yeah.
Well, we've spent the last 2 days. 2 years ago, it snowed here, which is unusual for southern Texas.
Yep.
But, I mean, we got 2 feet of snow in a matter of hours. All the pipes froze at work.
Wow.
Well, the forecast says this weekend is supposed to be down in single-digit numbers.
Again?
Yeah. It's
So
gonna go.
We've spent the last 2 days trying to winterize the shop so that the pipes and the boiler and all that stuff doesn't freeze again.
Yeah.
So when we go back to work Monday, we can go to work.
I hope that all works out for you.
Well, my boss has high hopes because he put me in charge of it.
Yes.
So no pressure, basically.
Oh no. Well, there was one day he thought he gave everybody, we were done with work, so he gave everybody the option, you can go home if you want to. And he had to actually leave a little bit early because he was taking his brother running somewhere. So I heard him call out to one of the other guys who was sweeping up, are you the only one here? And I popped my head around the corner and said, no, he's not. I'm still here. And he looked at me and went, oh, good, you're the one I'm actually looking for. He wanted me to shut down the shop for him since he wasn't going to be there.
Nice.
So, I mean, and we're talking people that have been there 16, 18, 20 years. I've only been there 4, but he comes looking for me to get stuff done.
And that says a lot.
As far as what Christmas is to me, it's the birth of Christ and family, regardless of blood or not.
Yeah.
Because I consider both all of you guys family.
And you're
saying Merry Christmas to you guys is what it means.
Absolutely. And of course, you guys, my YouTube friends, are family like that too.
My mother was a genius. You always tease kids who, when you get older, you tease the kids about believing in Santa because you've been, told.
Mm-hmm.
My mother had me believing in Santa till I was like 12 or 13 years old. Because we had a routine every year. Christmas Eve, sometime around noon, we would all go to my mother's best friend's house. I mean, they grew up together, literally best friends. We considered them aunt and uncles.
Yes.
Matter of fact, my mother and this lady, Mary, the day after Thanksgiving would get together at 6 o'clock in the morning and spend all day shopping for Black Friday. Mm-hmm. But they were both done with their Christmas shopping by the beginning of October. This was just a day that they took aside to spend together all day long. But what would happen is around noon, of course, my mother being, and stereotype, so yes, I'm teasing, my mother being a woman, of course, was not ready to go yet.
I understand what you're saying.
So my father and my brother and I would jump in the car and go down to the local gas station to fill up for our trip while she finished getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd go back to the house. She'd come out, get in the car. We'd go over to Mike and Mary's, have a little snack, open one gift each because Mary would get each of us a small gift and my mother would get her kids a small gift. Sometime around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, we would go over to the grandparents' house where we would have the Christmas meal and, exchange gifts with the grandparents. And we'd leave there around 10:30. And of course, when we left, the gifts that my parents had put under the tree were there. Well, when we got back from Grandma's house, all the presents from Santa were there. And we knew they weren't there when we left.
Oh, I see.
But as a child, you never put together, Mom was still home putting the gifts under the tree.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a good way to do it.
It is, absolutely.
Heck yeah, I could.
And I actually one thing I regret before my grandmother passed, because nobody has it. Now, my father and my brother hated it. I'm assuming my father hated it because he grew up with it. My mother and I loved it, though. She made a sauerkraut and dumpling soup.
Mm-hmm.
Was absolutely delicious. And I never did get the recipe before she passed, and nobody has it.
Wow.
Mhm. Know that feeling.
So the last thing I want to talk about tonight is presents, and I have two questions regarding this. And this second question's really you might have to really rack your brain to come up with an answer for. But what is, in your opinion, the best present you've ever gotten, and what, in your opinion, is the best present you've ever given? And
Oh,
Michael, you can go
wow.
first.
Well, let's just say that I'm hopeful this year, so I would say as of now, the best present that you said both have ever
Both
gotten.
gotten and given.
Let's just say it's a good old-fashioned sound of screw around and find out.
I
Where
don't get it.
It's a 12 gauge.
Oh, okay.
The sound of its chambering is the good old sound of screw around and find out.
The youth model camo one that Dad has in his safe.
Oh no, that's a 20. Last year
Oh.
I got a full pump action 12
Oh
gauge.
yeah, that's right. I remember that now.
And then the best thing I've ever given, well, admittedly it's gonna take me a little bit of time, but
If we
Well, the
have to,
12 gauge I've got is a Winchester Model 1300 Defender with pistol grip, folding stock, and a side saddle carrier.
nice. And Michael, if we have to come back to you for the best
You may have to come back to everybody for that one because that
Yeah.
one's tough.
That's
Let's-
perfectly fine.
plus, don't you find it weird that people remember the best thing that you've gotten and not the best thing that they've given?
Right.
Just saying.
But I asked that for a reason, because getting the gift is half the equation. There's giving it too.
Yeah. Actually, wait. No, I remember. There's a movie that Dad and I had watched called Walking Out. Basically, guy takes his kid out on a hunting trip in Alaska, and it all goes horribly wrong from a bear attack. And
I've heard of this movie, but I haven't seen it.
it's a very good movie. And basically, the only way that they could get out of there was the kid to saddleback carry his dad out because his dad got shot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
All
it's
right. That
the best movie that I would say that I've seen from an independent filmmaker.
All right. That's a good one. Felix, what about you? The best gift you've ever received and the best gift you've ever given.
I think I'm debating for the best receive. I think I'm gonna go with when I received my NES the first time. I'm
Okay.
going with that because you need to understand. When I was a kid, there was nothing else. There's nothing else, and before that was the Atari, but the Nintendo kind of changed the game.
Yeah,
And then-
it did.
And I have so many memories with my friends sitting down and just playing Mario Bros, Contra, and there's nothing that replicates that now except that the kids go and meet people in the multiplayers. But it's not the
Yep.
same. Having your buddies next to you and you have snacks, your mom's prepared for it was a game changer. So for me, I think the NES was the best that I ever gave. Is hard. That question is really hard. I will go, and I think everybody will be different. I believe that I give my wife the ring on Christmas time. And
That's
I think
nice.
and I think that for me would be but it's hard. I think it's a hard question to ask. It's really difficult to point out. So yeah, that's me.
All right. Fair enough. DJ Ronnie G, what about you? Best
Well-
gift you've ever gotten and given.
We certainly got a lot of mileage out of that Nintendo Entertainment System, no doubt about it. I mean, we skipped Super Nintendo, so I mean, we got a lot of mileage out of that Nintendo right there.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You know, but I don't know if that's the best gift, but it's up there. Battle for Naboo. Now that was a good gift right there. That was a surprise
Oh
gift.
yeah.
Like,
I
did
know
not
exactly
expect
what
to
you're
get
talking
that
about.
game. Didn't know it existed, and it was basically like Rogue Squadron all over again. So, you know,
Alright.
Battle for Naboo for N64 was one of the better surprise gifts. But, I mean, I got a comprehensive Starship collection from
Okay.
the ages of 8 to 12. So, you know, my mom was always good to hook me up with at least one Starship every Christmas. And so I have a little fleet. But beyond that, best gift I gave, well, I'm sure it is better, but the only one I can remember off the top of my head right now is the DVD recorder, which I purchased for my dad in like 2005. I think it was 05, yeah. And back then I was working at Best Buy. It was probably my first or second year at Best Buy. And I was like, hey, you know, my dad's, you know, we're coming out of the VHS age, right? 2005. And
Yeah.
now it's like you got DVR cable boxes, but, you know, a DVD recorder is the closest thing to a VCR you're going to get, you know, something with removable media. So that was a pretty good gift there. That I think was, you know, at least at the time, that was cool. But beyond that, can't recall anything freshly off the top of my brain right now.
Okay. No, that is perfectly fine. The DVR thing. Black Dragon, I already know at least one of your possible
Yeah, you
answers.
know that one, but they don't.
So, go ahead.
The best gift I ever gotten was from my sister-in-law. And this was, I mean, many, many years ago. Of course, my brother and she have since divorced, but I'm still friends with her on Facebook. But he had come home on leave and they were visiting. And she looked at me and said, okay, what do you want for Christmas? And don't tell me nothing. Which, of course, I responded with, nothing. I don't want anything for Christmas. I want to spend time with family. She goes, no, you're getting something. I said, I'll tell you what. You want to get me a gift? Bake me a tin of cookies. And that's exactly what she did. She baked a tin of cookies and brought it to me for Christmas, which is from the heart. And that's what Christmas is about. So that's the best gift I've ever gotten. The best gift I ever gave, I want to say, was about 3.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We talk at work. And one of the guys that I work with, you know, we work closely because we work in the same part of the shop. So we're constantly trading stories and whatnot. And he was I've never seen the miniseries North and South. But he absolutely loves it. And he was going on about this and going on about this and going on about this. So I went and I still can't find season 3, but I found season 1 and 2 on VHS. He doesn't have a DVD player.
Okay.
So I found season 1 and season 2 of North and South on VHS through eBay. And I picked it up and I laid it on top of his car at the end of the workday. And when he came out, you know, of course, I stayed there to make sure, one, nobody else walked off with it and to make sure he got it. But when he walked out with this curious look on his face and opened up that bag and saw what was inside, the light in his eyes just made it all worth it. And, of course, he looked over and said, thank you. And I looked at him and went, I don't know what you're talking about. And I drove off.
Yeah. So,
But that's just because of you know, he never asked for it. It was just something I decided to do because he liked it and we're friends.
Nice. For me, I think the best gift I ever got was something that Mom put together. And you're probably going to remember this one, Michael, because you were there for the FaceTime that I opened it.
Okay.
This was when I was in Okinawa in 2016. And so, of course, Mom and Dad and everyone sent presents to me in Japan. And the one that really touched me, like actually made me get emotional, was a calendar that Mom had made for the year 2016. and it was the type of calendar that, you know, folds down and you have a picture at the top and of course the dates at the bottom. Mom had made a 2016 calendar with family pictures and like special things that we had done while I was still there.
Nice.
Nice.
And
I actually don't remember this for some reason.
That was also the FaceTime, Michael, that I announced that I was to you guys that I was coming home on leave that following spring, when initially it was supposed to be a secret between me and Dad.
I still don't remember it, so I'm just going to take your word for it and smile and nod.
Okay. And then I think the best gift I ever gave, the first one that comes to mind was your crossguard saber, Michael.
Oh, that, yeah.
Oh, nice.
But I know there's other ones that I've done too, but that's the first one that comes to mind for me. And I did the whole I asked what's the best gift you guys ever gave, because yes, it's fun to give gifts, but I wanted to do that as just a further illustration of it's also about giving gifts as just an extra way to show that you care about that person. You guys get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And that's why it's so hard, because when you get a family member, you know, a father, a mother, a child, a sibling that wants something so bad and you get it for them, and the light in their eyes, like I said, when Johnny saw what was in that package, you know, just the light in his eyes of what he realized he had makes it all worthwhile. That's why it's so tough to come up with the best you ever gave, because you get so many smiles when you give somebody something they want.
Yes, and that's, at least to me, is the best part of it.
Yes.
Seeing their face light up.
Seeing the joy.
When it's something either that they've wanted all their life, or at least in the case of me in that calendar, something that they didn't know that they wanted or needed in that moment. Because like I said, that particular Christmas for me was just overall a kind of depressing one, because I was overseas in Okinawa. This was the third year in a row that I had missed Christmas with my family. I didn't even honestly have work. It was one of those days where I wished I was working, which was rare for me. But I was missing my family, and honestly was just kind of not happy with the Navy in general, because that was around when we'll say...
When you were having your issues?
When I was having my issues, yes. And then that calendar comes up as a reminder of all the happy of at least some of the happy times in my life. It wasn't anything that I would have ever thought in a million years to ask for, but it's what I needed in that moment.
See, but that's kind of where my job has ruined me.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 12 years military service. I spent 27 years in either corrections or law enforcement as a road officer.
So I'm guessing that's just made you a little bit less patient?
No, not less patient. Those are the types of jobs that you get that don't care about the holidays. They have to be staffed 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So holidays to me are just another day of the week. The job I've got now, yes, gives us holidays off. But the only way I know about it is when one of the other guys says, hey, we're not working, you know, this day because of this holiday. Oh, really? It's a holiday?
Yeah.
It's ruined me as far as enjoying the holidays, because like I said, for so long, it's just another day of the year. If I was off, nice. If I'm not, I'm working. But the jobs had to be staffed.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I definitely know how that feels.
Yeah. Well, I have got to head out. I'm getting a little tired here.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, anyways. But this was a great conversation, guys. So thank you, Felix, Michael,
Yeah.
Black Dragon and DJ for popping on here and having this conversation with me. And I think we're gonna go ahead and do a short. Well, I don't know if it'll be short, but I'll try and end it in a timely manner. But we will go ahead and play some Skyrim after this. So if you guys want to hop into the Discord after this, I'll be there. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, Merry Christmas, because the Force is family.
Absolutely.
Later.
And we
Merry
all
Christmas,
work for
everybody.
someone.
Exactly.